Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. The time is 4:20 p.m. and we are calling the Board of Estimate and Contract meeting into order. Deputy Clerk Bonilla, can you please call the roll?
Comptroller Morton,
Here.
Council President Gleason,
Here.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Here.
Thank you. Read the notice.
Agenda.
Could we have a bit of notes? Yes. Thank you. This is the Board of Estimate and Contract, Tuesday, December 17, 2024, scheduled for 4 p.m. in the Mayor's Conference Room at City Hall. Today, there will be a bid opening for toll services, followed by the regular Board of Estimate Contract meeting. The bid for towing services was advertised in the Journal News on November 22nd, 2024. And it was also on BidNet with the closing was December 16, 2024 by 4 p.m.
We have bids. Mr. Powell?
No bids have been submitted.
Okay. Thank you. We do know that people have opened the bid, but no one submitted the bids.
They downloaded the document, but we don't have any.
Correct.
Haven't received any submission.
So now does it get rebid?
It's up to whoever put it out.
We'll speak to the Department of Public Safety. Okay,
Ready?
we can proceed with our regular agenda.
Okay. Under resolutions approving ordinances, number one, management services, an ordinance authorizing the award of contract for municipal broadband Wi-Fi solutions, bid number 0043-2024 to Lightpath and the execution of an agreement for implementation of a public Wi-Fi system.
So moved.
Second.
On the question,
This is R. And it is R in case, because I know there's been some conversation about this, right? And public Wi-Fi and all that, but that's one of the main initiatives of R, right? In which they made it a category in of itself. Right? And so one of those things we had committed ourselves to very early on and wanted to make sure that this kind of got completed. And I'll be clear that, I've been an advocate for making sure that we kind of get it done. We had said that we were going to do it early on. So just want to make sure we clarify, right? That this is not money that is just being kind of pilfered away, but it is an initiative in which was clearly identified out by the, when the ARC was originally even created, right? Like with sewers.
Yeah. And what is very interesting, because there has been criticism that in a community that has so many needs that we would spend money on broadband. Broadband is a utility. Like, we have to see that and understand that broadband is now the fourth utility in this country. Water is a utility, gas is a utility, electric is a utility, broadband is a utility. And in some urban communities, Mount Vernon being one of them, not everyone has access to broadband. And so to be able to say that everyone shouldn't have some level of access to broadband is a nice point of privilege that we want to make sure that people have equitable access. One thing that we saw during COVID, and I believe this is why the federal government had put this as a part of this initiative, is that there are people who have a hard time doing their homework, kids. There are people who don't have access to their medical services, online banking, and things of that nature because they do not necessarily have broadband in their homes. And so to have public spaces and places where our residents can access broadband is very important. It is not a luxury. It is now a necessity. This is not so people can download and upload and be on their games quickly. It is so that people can gain access to some of the critical services that many of us take for granted every day because we have it available in our homes. And so, yes, as you said, Controller, this is one of the priorities of the ARPA funding. because the ARPA funding was in response to COVID and some of the lessons that we learned during COVID, that the gaps in our country and in our communities were wider than we thought, and that there were people who did not have access to some basic necessities, this being one of them. So thank you for lifting, some of that up. And, when you get money, you have to do with the money as the money has been assigned and appropriated. You just don't get to go off course and do whatever you want to without regard to who funded you to do it. So with that being said, is there anything else on the question? Roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 2, Office of the Mayor, an ordinance retroactively authorizing the Chief of Staff to attend the Strong Cities Network 5th Global Summit in Cape Town, South Africa, December 3rd through the 5th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, this was at no cost to the city at all. And so it's just permission that he attended. And there was very good information in this around building partnerships and bridges in communities, and we need this more than ever now. Roll call or anything?
I just got a question.
Uh-huh.
So is there a reason why that needed to go? It is absolutely no cost to the city, right? No use of the city asset or anything other than his supervisor's permission to attend. Was there a reason? I saw it. I was like, okay, first I almost gasped because I was like, okay, in South Africa, how much did this cost? Right? And the assistant comptroller was like, oh no, that's free. I said, well, you should have started with that. Did I ask the question? No, seriously.
So you're asking why is it coming to us?
And well, even why I went to the council or to us, right?
Well, don't we have to approve his time away from his job?
No, we do. Or does that, or
I
supervisor?
mean, it's not,
I don't know. I'm just asking so that we can get these things down because make sure that, all right. I guess that should be a part of a travel policy. I guess maybe a little clarification. I'm just asking. I'm fine.
it's a good point. It's a good point.
Okay, thank you.
Well, since it's here, are we gonna vote on?
No, yeah, no, I'm not vote on it. I was asking.
Well, I know, but like you said, it's of no.
No, it was a clarification.
Yeah, no cost.
Clarification, because if it's something that where you could just allow him to go, why would it have, if there's no cost to the city? So sounds like a question for Johan.
And when sometimes I think we, out of an abundance of caution, another
Yes.
term, we just put this here, so. So roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a financing agreement with Lease Services, Inc., DBA NCL Government Capital for the purchase of essential Department of Public Works, DPW fleet equipment.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Um,
On the question, for the record, there is no mayor's truck on here.
Nope.
There is no controller's truck on.
No assessors.
Well, I don't think that was on here.
Yeah, it was.
It was, okay, so there are no staffing trucks we have on here. Trucks that are needed for DPW to carry out their day-to-day work are on here and that are critical to the department. So just wanted to be clear.
okay.
You have anything else on the?
I should too.
Okay.
I think, I know we've talked about it, right? Fleet management,
Mm-hmm.
is there have we developed an actual plan? The written kind of plan of how
Maintenance?
maintenance
And management.
management and maintenance, right, of these vehicles. Because I mean, it's a huge investment, right? And we want to make sure that they are being cared for properly and managed properly and cared for properly. Too, on this, are there any, and I'm assuming, are there any warranties on any of these? Do you know?
Yes, I mean, the standard warranties apply to all of the equipment,
3-year powertrain.
3-year powertrain.
Engine, transmission. Not body work.
Well, it's not gonna, I mean, we just gotta train people to make sure that they operate the vehicle so that there's no need for any body work.
Right.
Right, and so that's the management piece of it that I'm talking about. I just wanna make sure that can we just make sure that there is some sort of kind of written policy document,
DPW
procedures that,
did update the policies around training and use supervision. I know one of the challenges around just some of the basic maintenance, and that's more so for kind of the garbage trucks and the sweepers, is that we haven't had enough in the past 5 years for them to kind of sit in DPW and get regular maintenance. And sometimes we didn't have money on schedule to do it either. And so one of the things that we're trying to do is get to a place where we have enough equipment and the right equipment to do the basic work. But then, and I don't want to use the word luxury, but sometimes it seems like that's the right word, to be able to put a truck down long enough so that you can do the preventive maintenance on it. And, you know, that's one of the things that is being worked on, is being able to do the preventative maintenance on it and being able to have it down long enough to do that. So that is definitely a focus. Deputy Commissioner of Public Works, John Nisolovich, is the person that is tasked with working with our fleet superintendent to do that work. So with a very close eye on it, because we cannot invest the monies. And you know, I wish I could. When we look back on a lot of the equipment that we do have, preventative maintenance was a challenge, but more than anything, it was the age of the equipment that we have, which much of it is over 20 years, which was the downfall of the equipment. It's, you know, that it was over 11 years, far exceeding the operational lifespan of, you know, 5 years and more. Some of our equipment we've had 20 and 30 years, and we've been duct taping it and welding it together. So we definitely don't want to get these to that. But insofar as having a preventative maintenance and a maintenance schedule, at the same time, as a city, we're going to have to figure out a capital replacement schedule. Because one of the biggest challenges that we use equipment way beyond the years that it is useful. And then we get diminishing returns because it's more repair and more that we have to invest in repair than we're using to replace it. So preventative maintenance, regular maintenance schedule, and the replacement schedule will all have to work hand in hand, definitely going forward.
okay, I agree. We are now investing over $3 million into stuff, right? So, my expectation is that DPW would produce that plan
Absolutely.
in the next month or so, because we need to see. I need to see what that is, as to how they're doing it, right? And we recognize the fact that now if we're buying these, right, there should be a way for them to make sure that they are strategically planning out for something to come offline to get maintenance. Right, just in it, because otherwise, you're right, we're gonna find, it's gonna take us some time to develop all the rest of the stuff comprehensively. So at least while we're agreeing to purchase it, we need to make sure that these things are being kept up.
And pulled.
And that means, as we said before, right, that the drivers themselves need to be reporting on a daily basis and filling out vehicle condition reports every day.
Well, I mean, that's a New York State law. That's a DOT law. It's
That's a
that they have to fill out. I'm assuming that they're doing that. I mean, my trucks do it. They have to fill it out every day. And you get New York State audits you on it. The Department of Transportation audits you on it
Okay.
from time to time. So, I mean, that's something we definitely should make sure that DPW is doing. But I believe I asked that 2 years ago. And I believe that they're doing it because each truck should have
Has to have
a
DOT
maintenance
inspection.
and travel as to the time they got somewhere and what have you.
Okay. All right, so yeah, we'll do that. We need to put in place that on a monthly basis that we need to be connected to. Okay. All right, I'm good.
Roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 4, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing a budget transfer to cover the administrative fees for union grievances filed against the City of Mount Vernon Department of Public Works.
So moved?
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 5, Department of Public Works, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an emergency contractual agreement with PCI Industries, Inc. for sanitary and stormwater sewer repairs.
So moved?
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 6, Civil Service, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds within the Civil Service Commission budget to cover medical expenses for police officer hiring.
So moved?
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
And I move to take 7, 8, 9 as one. Doctor. They all are related to the county contract program.
Yes.
I'll second taking 7, 8, and 9 and doing as a block vote.
Roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
All right, 7, 8, and 9 will be a block vote. Department of Recreation and ordinance authorizing the mayor to retroactively enter into an agreement with the County of Westchester to provide funding for summer basketball program and senior programming. Number 8, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to retroactively enter into an agreement with Westchester Putnam Workforce Development Board for the Youth Employment Program, YEP. Number 9, Youth Bureau, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to retroactively enter into an intermunicipal agreement with the Westchester County Youth Bureau.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye, and I'm sorry, this should have been for the question, but retroactively, it's how the county sends out their contracts, so. That's it on that. Proceed.
Yes. Number 10, Department of Public Safety, an ordinance authorizing the transfer of the American Rescue Plan Act ARPA funds for the purchase of 3 vehicles for the Department of Public Safety.
So moved?
Second.
The question? Roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 11, Department of Public Safety and Ordinance authorizing the purchase of 2025 Toyota Camry LE hybrid vehicles for the Department of Public Safety.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
Um, are our mechanics trained? And I should have asked this at the council meeting, and I don't remember, I don't know if somebody else did. Are our mechanics trained in this, in the maintenance of hybrid vehicles, or will we send it back to the car dealer for that?
Well, they're being trained.
They're being
And
trained?
we'll send it back to the car dealer for all of the initial warranties. And just to be clear, I know we purchased 20, I believe it was Ford Explorers a few years ago with the ARPA money. And we are now purchasing, I think we said seven, but we're purchasing 7 vehicles. So the Ford Explorers that we purchased will go back to the patrol division, right? Because we've had some crashes. I mean, that happens. But we've also had increased training and disciplinary rules around driving and pursuits. But the 7 Explorers will come out of the detective division and go into patrol division. And they will be striped. And then these will replace what was being used in other divisions, that don't necessarily need a truck. So we definitely have a plan, which we've been talking about for a long time, about making sure that the PD is equipped and has a preventive maintenance, and a replacement schedule. So we are using a combination of ARPA monies and what we refer to as 666 money. So I believe 3 of these vehicles are being purchased with ARPA monies. 4 of the vehicles are being purchased with 666 monies, which is like kind of the drug recovery money that is sent down from the state. So they're not all ARPA, but half of them are being paid for through the 666 fund as well.
Okay, so these are all for the police. This is not parking. Police. Okay, and you're just moving vehicles from one unit to the other. That's more appropriate. Got it. How much money is in the 666? 666 is sound like me like it's an endless bucket here that I keep hearing, and I have to, ask and defer you and George on this one.
Last update George gave us a little over 300,000 left in that line.
And so we're using 131?
131 here, yes.
And wasn't there something else that we said 666 was?
Yeah, about 7,000.
7,000 for the floor of the RTC aware wing.
Okay. And all of those, there's no restrictions on 666, other than it be related to police.
Right, it has to be
Police operation, right?
right.
All right.
Roll call.
Okay, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 12, Department of Public Safety and Ordinance authorizing the purchase of Motorola Edge devices for the Department of Public Safety.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, just so you know, the Motorola Edge devices are devices that the council passed an ordinance a while ago about certain types of businesses and classes of businesses being required to have cameras. And not just cameras, but cameras that have access, that the PD has access to. We've partnered with Motorola to create our Aware Room, which will be a real-time crime center, where we will have crime cameras, quality of life cameras, residential cameras, business cameras throughout the city, which will feed back into this centralized kind of intel space that will assist in the prevention of crime as well as in the solving of crime. The Motorola Edge devices are the ones that will be used for the businesses. So one Edge device has the ability to coordinate 30 cameras to send back signals to the police department. And so we will be working with our businesses in different parts of the city to bring them on to this program. And again, ARPA money being used to deal with kind of increase in crime that happened during that time, especially in your business areas. Is definitely something that we want to do to support the safe and productive functioning of our business community. Roll call,
Comptroller Morton.
question?
Comptroller Morton.
Aye.
Council President Gleason.
100% aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 13, Department of Public Safety and ordinance authorizing the use of ARPA funds for flooring installation in the Aware Command Center.
Can
So
we
we
make
have to make a
an
change.
amendment? Can we make an
Yeah.
amendment on the floor? Because it is not ARPA funds, it's 666 funds.
So it's an ordinance authorizing use of
I know, I hate the term
666
666.
funds
Nathan,
for for the flooring installation in the Aware Command Center. So moved.
666.
Yes.
if they put the church lady back on Saturday Night Live this past week.
Oh, Lord.
We have some term.
Somebody's got a second.
Second.
Thank you. And this is the vote.
To amend it, roll call.
Comptroller Morton.
Aye.
Council President Gleason.
To amend it, aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye. Now, roll call to
You did it?
pass it.
Okay, thank you.
Have a
Gotta
motion to.
Read it. Right?
You want
Again,
me to read it?
no, I don't care. No, it's the right thing to do.
You need to read it? Yeah, no?
Might as well read it since
Oh, okay. Resolved that an ordinance adopted by the city council on December 11, 2024, and signed by the mayor on December 12, 2024, authorizing the use of 666 funds for flooring installation in the Aware Command Center.
there we go. So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 14, Department of Public Safety and ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the County of Westchester for reimbursement of parking fees for the use of municipal parking lot number 4 from May 1st, 2016 through October 31st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 15, Department of Public Safety and ordinance authorizing the purchase of 400 Target gift cards to support the Public Safety Camera Program, PSCP, to enhance community safety and crime prevention. 400 Target gift cards valued at $150.
So moved.
Second.
On the question, just so on the question, we're not giving out, so they're Target Visa cards. We're not giving these out. We are utilizing them to purchase the cameras. So we spoke about kind of the neighborhood safety initiative, also as part of ARPA and the larger public safety goals. And so the city through ARPA funds will fund the purchase of 400 residential cameras. There are 3 different camera systems that residents will be able to choose from. They will have to sign an MOU with the city again. giving the PD access to the street level views. We don't want views into your house. We just want this camera to be forward facing on the street, that it can help give us a greater surveillance around the cities and into some potential neighborhood criminal activity or to solve crimes. And we will use the gift cards to purchase these as we register people. We are not looking to put 20 on a block, right? So there will be an identification and public safety division will really focus on where there is a dearth of surveillance in our city. And we will work with the neighborhood associations and the residents to get these put up so that, again, it can increase our surveillance throughout the city. So unlike the kind of gun buyback, it's not like someone's coming and we're giving them gift cards. And they're Target gift cards, they're Target Visa cards that we can use anywhere. And we chose to go through Target because the rate, the management rate or the usage rate was cheaper than the bank cards, than going through the banks.
So what is, so, okay, so the cards are to be used to purchase what?
To purchase the actual camera systems.
From Target?
No,
Or the Target card they
they're
can use?
there's Target Visa cards. So
Target.
Target is just the vendor, but they are not where the money needs to be spent. So we're not going to be purchasing Ring doorbell cameras or any other company from Target store. They're just Visa cards that we can use through Amazon and vendors, the 3 different vendors that we've looked at to purchase the cameras. People can say that we have some cameras that are right around that 150. We even have some that are more, right? But we're only giving people up to that 150 to cover it. We will, they have to cover anything that's over that.
Okay, and so so my concern, of course, would be just the management of, these cards, right?
Mhm.
And how we're ensuring that one, we have a clear inventory of what they are. We're gonna purchase 400 cards. I need to know, like, when they do get, so there needs to be some reporting mechanism. Here is what we kind of gave out, so whatever the procedure is, here's what we have left in the inventory until it's all done. That's all,
Absolutely.
right? And so I think,
It will be
So-
a project led by Public Safety in partnership with Neighborhood Safety and Engagement. So they'll do that together and we can provide a monthly report of how many cameras that we purchased for the residents in Mount Vernon and make sure that those cards are tightly inventoried.
we just set up a system for that. Thank you.
Roll call?
Comptroller Morton?
Second.
No.
Well, you gotta vote.
I don't know. I wasn't prepared for it.
He said, thank you.
Council President,
Aye.
thank you. Mayor Patterson Howard?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, number 16.
Oh.
Under settlements, number 16, settlement of lawsuit for violation of civil rights and personal injuries for Lawson Rittenhour, $2,500.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? Hearing none, roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 17, settling the lawsuit of Stephen Beto.
So moved.
Second.
On the question?
So this was the item that had come last meeting, but we had
Oh,
not,
We had held it.
we held it. We didn't have time to look at it, right?
Right.
Roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
Number 18, under resolutions approving ordinances, a continuation. Number 18, Department of Public Works. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into contracts with WeatherTight and New Vista for emergency repairs to the roof of the police and court buildings and appropriating funds from the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA, budget codes H1620.203 with project code C930 and H1620.203 with project code C952.
So moved.
Second.
On the question.
So okay, so this is a combination of
He has to.
art and the, band.
Yes. And we have checked with, the assistant controller to ensure that the monies were in
Yeah.
line and available.
Is he trying to
Joke
get you?
today.
Is he trying to get you?
I'm starting to.
Yes, and
I just preempted
I
your
thought you-
question.
I guess activity.
The money.
No, I'm clear. I knew the money was in the band. I was concerned to make sure we've done so many moves with art. I just want to make sure, right? Okay.
We have moved none from that line though. And, look, we're excited, right? Because the court and the police department leak. And we want to make sure, part of the ARPA monies again was to kind of improve HVAC and make sure our buildings are sealed. And so this is definitely another good use of money. And, we got to make sure our buildings are not taking on more water and damaging all this other equipment that we're buying and putting in them and, hurting our employees. So thank you. Roll call.
Controller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard.
Aye.
And number 19, Fire Department, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Empress Emergency Medical Services, EMS, for ambulance and paramedicine services.
So moved.
Second.
Aye. I mean. On the question. On the question.
There's no questions.
Well, again, this is ARPA money and we want to say, thank you, because we're reaching the bottom of our ARPA money barrel, but we've been able to do good things. Here in Mount Vernon, we've had 2.5 ambulances or 2 ambulances and 1 12-hour ambulance a day, for 2.5 kind of total ambulances in a city of about 100,000 people, regardless of what the census says. We know how many people live here. We needed to expand the capacity of our EMS services. We initially went out and brought trucks and outfitted them, but staffing them would be a challenge and a cost to the city. That is not something that we could sustain, and in the first few years could be a losing financial battle, and we're not in the place to lose money. So we have gone into this hybrid contract with Empress that will allow all 4 of the ambulances that we purchased to be operated by Empress, who will staff them, equip them, fill the gas up, work with our fire department and DPW staff to do the preventive and the regular maintenance on them. But most importantly, it will reduce response times. It will reduce response times. Oftentimes, our ambulances are on calls or they might be out of the city, and an emergency is never planned, right? That's the part of the emergency. And if you have an ambulance at Lawrence, if you have an ambulance in New Rochelle, if you have an ambulance, the other halftime ambulance at Mount Vernon Hospital, then there's no other ambulance to go and address the city. And we have to rely on mutual aid to come from outside the city. This will increase our capacity to be able to, again, meet this critical public safety issue within our own community. It is an example of a public-private partnership. Government can't do everything, and we can't always depend on the private sector to do it, even through contracts. So this is going to be a public-private partnership. And as we move forward and they change ambulance laws and reimbursement laws in the state of New York. So people are treated in place and ambulances can do a few other things. We'll see where whether this is something that the city can take on later. We have increased reporting in the contract so that we can get the financial management and the data that we need to ensure accountability on response times, but then also to understand the financial inner workings of EMS as the city, seeks to see if this is something that we could do on our own, or do we stay in a public-private hybrid mode? So we're glad that we have gotten to this place and so are there any questions?
So,
I,
go ahead.
well, I would just like to say, I think we owe Tony Everett 2 days back. I'm
Vacation time and everything else.
yeah, I'm gonna say that, we understand, how we have to put a new contract in place, right? I think, council would have probably liked to have a lot more time to go over this, but I think in the amount of time that we did have, the amount of time that, Tony Everett and Empress and some of the council members' recommendations, they were definitely incorporated where it was feasible. And Empress, where it wasn't feasible, said we couldn't, we agreed. I think it's a good contract. I think that they have added a lot of extra things in there, and I can't wait to see how this rolls out. But I want to make sure that everybody understands that, contracts could always be amended if we find that we're missing something, right? So I think that's really important. And again, like I said, Tony Everett is on vacation. Not sure where she is. I'm not going to blow her cover, but she's on vacation and has definitely taken the time to coordinate between Empress, between council, and put everything and the fire department, put everything together so that, we could get this contract up and rolling. And it'll be very interesting for us to see how this rolls out. I'm looking forward to, like what the mayor said, quicker response times. And I think that was basically all I wanted to say on that.
And just again, this was very critical because one of the things that I'd heard since coming into office, and even before I came in the office, when I did work briefly as the planning commissioner back in 2016, is that our ambulance response times were not sufficient, that our fleet wasn't strong, that we needed to expand the services. The calculation of it was challenging. How we were going to pay for it was challenging, right? And so again, being able to work, this would have been a much more expensive venture, right? Had we not had our own ambulances, right? So we invested almost $1.5 million in the purchase and the equipping of those ambulances, and having those ambulances and that equipment also allowed us to probably save $1 million a year on this contract, right? Just 1 year, 2 million, for the 2-year life of the contract, 2 million. So it will allow us to save more than what we have initially invested in the ambulances themselves. And then have a partner in the industry who's done this for a long time. So government can't always do it by itself, and we can't always let industry do it, but this is a public-private partnership that I will expect will yield results for the community, and we'll track that, right? And so we're excited. And with getting our ER back, right? And expanding our ER and it will just help us as a community to be able to provide a higher level of care and response to our citizens. I think they deserve that. Having a good healthcare system in the community is important. So between the health center,
And
the ambulances, the hospital, you know,
We're on
and
our way.
our private doctors, we are on our way. And I literally got a call today that someone visited from out of town, a family member, and they had to go to the ER and they had to go in the hospital. And that they came back and they said they got incredible service. They said, and, you know, they have some chronic health conditions. So they, as they travel, they're often in hospitals, but that they received excellent care in that continuum. And so that's been something that's been heavy on our hearts for years. And so we're glad to see that it's moving in the right direction.
Right, and getting that word out to make sure that everybody knows. I mean, we have the Westchester Health Community Center. The hospital, we had that community forum with the hospital that was very exciting. And even just telling people, I went to dinner with somebody the other night who didn't even realize, like, I was like, Mount Vernon Hospital's up and running, you know? And once they start getting their marketing out, I think at least health and wellness is definitely a priority here. And this is a great way to have an added tool for that. Controller,
I'm good.
all right. Roll call.
Comptroller Morton,
Aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard,
Aye.
conclude the agenda.
Make a motion to, oh, no, you know what? Madam Mayor, may I speak for a minute?
Mhm.
So the vehicles, we just spoke about, you know, the 7 vehicles and some other vehicles and the maintenance and stuff like that. But, city council had requested from the corporation counsel's office, police and DPW for some statistics on accidents. We did receive them from the police department. We did not, and I understand we had some people that were not at work over the last month, you know, between vacations and sick, but we still are looking for those statistics from the corporation counsel's office on accidents. And there was a whole list. Johan, you remember what the list was?
Not too bad.
If
I'll
you
follow
just
up that.
double check that.
Just on what? On accidents, or was that the request that was,
I think it was accidents.
that we paid?
Or insurance claim?
That what we talking about?
Yeah, but it was like how many accidents were had. It was insurance, from the corporation counsel's office. It was like the claims. And then for, DPW and police had already, given us the information, regarding, you know, the accidents they were having.
My office provided that information to Councilwoman Brown.
Regarding both DPW and police?
Regarding anything that we paid out, right? And any of the, right? Any of the,
Right, but there would be some accidents that might not have. Would you have had all the accidents?
no. I mean, if there was a claim to it, we would have had
I gotcha,
payout, right? But if it wasn't, right?
gotcha.
Right, if there wasn't a claim to it, I mean, then no. I mean,
Okay.
it would have, right, because it would have had to been above a certain amount, right? Because with no fault claim, so we would have paid anything if there was a claim, there was something, right,
Okay.
to it, but we'll go, I mean, it may be something different.
Even if it's like.
Well, no, there might be some accidents that we might have fixed in-house, you know?
I'll follow up with Commissioner.
Thank you.
Bush. Anything else?
No,
Make a motion to adjourn?
second,
Roll call?
Comptroller Morton,
aye.
Council President Gleason,
Aye.
Mayor Patterson Howard,
Aye.